Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Asma Siddiqui. I'm a voracious book reader, and this week, this is the book that I finished reading. It's called Gone Tomorrow by Lee Child, which is a Jack Reacher novel. Oh, if you've been following me, you probably know that I've already read a Jack Reacher novel, and if you're not really following me, you'll probably still know Jack Reacher because Tom Cruise has played him in a couple of movies. So far, I've seen two of his movies, I think, where Tom Cruise was playing Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher is a character who is a retired military police guy, and he gets himself involved in cases where he has to solve them. So it's a bit of mystery and adventure and a bit of thrill, a lot of action because you can imagine Tom Cruise doing all of these things. So when I'm reading Jack Reacher, I'm thinking of Tom Cruise. This book was interesting. I really enjoyed the story. It was a gripping mystery. The ending was a bit abrupt because pretty much all the book was about figuring out what and how and why, and then all of a sudden, I'm not sure how Jack Reacher comes to this conclusion that he knows how and where. So, I mean, if he was getting to that conclusion, he might as well have gotten it at the beginning of the book. Then we wouldn't have to read all that. So I was not really happy with the abrupt ending because it's just too sudden without much explanation. It was just, I don't know how the person reached that conclusion. I also did not enjoy the part where I found there was a little bit of, actually too much of information, especially about locations and streets and weapons, the weapons they were using in the book. So that part was also, I found it a little off because I really skimmed through reading those parts where there was just too much information about, the size and performance of a certain pistol or a certain weapon. I mean, it was really not adding much information to my head. And even the geographic part, I was wondering if people based in New York would already have that information, so they really wouldn't want to read all that. And people who are out of New York, like me, I would still not understand. So, what was the point of giving so much of information about streets and what subway would reach where and, you know, just generally neighborhoods and stuff. So I didn't like that part. I think if all of that would have been missing in the book, the story would still have been the same. But overall, I enjoyed the book because the mystery part was hooking. I enjoyed reading the book. I was able to finish reading this sooner. You already know that I was suffering from a reader's block for a bit, but books like these, they keep me engrossed. They keep me involved in the book and the story itself. So I like reading these kind of books. And then there's no such thing as reader's block for me then. So good book. I'm going to recommend you to read it. These little bits of extra information, like too much information about the weapons and too much information about the geography of New York, was a little off, but the rest of the book was really good. And Jack Reacher, you can always imagine Tom Cruise doing all these things, so it's easier to understand also. My cousin got me this book about the book also because if you see, it's a hardback, which means I would not normally buy a book like this for myself. Hard books are really difficult to read in bed. This one too, but it's very lightweight, so generally I was not totally upset about the book or the size. But it is one of those books that I picked up from a picture, and this was a good book. It's just 400 rupees because this is one of those pre-loved books that there's a store in Islamabad that used to sell these pre-loved books. It closed by the time I went there last year. I was not able to find the store because it had shut down, unfortunately, because I was planning to buy a lot of books. I bought fewer books at the book fair because I intended to buy books from Islamabad. Unfortunately, that store shut down, so I lost the chance of buying books at the book fair, and I did not even get the chance to buy books at that bookstore. I don't know why I'm rambling, but anyway, read the book. It's a good book. I'm going to give it, actually I've already given it a 4 star, and I'm reading another book which is another hardback, and I'm going to get back to you about that because that book seems interesting as well. But until then, you subscribe to the channel and definitely click on that bell icon so that you know when I come up with a new video and a new book. I come here every week on Saturdays and tell you about the books that I have read that week, and I suggest if you should or should not read. So you guys stick around. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.